Now this is fan service we can get behind. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 comic book fan couples that should be canon. For this list, we're looking at comic book characters who fans would like to see become couples. We're including pairs who have only hooked up now and then or gotten together in alternate realities, and we're excluding characters who weren't together in screen adaptations but dated in the comics. If you like what you're hearing, be sure to check out the full song at the link below. Number 10, Thor and Storm. This first one's a no-brainer. Thor is the Norse god of thunder, and sure, that sounds good on a Tinder profile, but with a lead-in like that, it must be hard to find someone who can match his energy. Until Storm pops up on his screen, that is. Not only does she have similar powers, but she was also considered a goddess back home. So yeah, she understands god problems. That's a surprisingly specific set of common experiences even for two superheroes to share. Probably worth a swipe right. Then again, it remains to be seen if Storm can put up with a guy who expresses himself in such a grandiose manner. Number 9, Ms. Marvel, Kamala Khan, and Nova, Sam Alexander. When Sam Alexander joined up with the Avengers for Marvel Comics Civil War II, the publisher briefly teased the love triangle between him, Miles Morales, and their teammate Kamala Khan. While either young man could have made a good match for her, it was really Nova whose cocky swagger and underlying sweetness provided the perfect counterpoint to Kamala's awkward teenage charm. Sure, they squabbled a lot, but sometimes that happens when there are strong feelings under the surface. And though they both have other love interests in their solo stories, both Kamala and Sam would likely be better off dating someone from whom they didn't have to hide their superheroics. Number 8, Sue Storm and Namor. The Submariner has been competing with Mr. Fantastic for the Invisible Woman's affections since the very beginning of Fantastic Four comics. And even though Sue Storm ended up marrying Reed Richards, it's pretty clear that she still carries a candle for Namor. In fact, she's come perilously close to having an affair with him more than once. While we'd never condone cheating, there's certainly enough to make you wonder. Maybe she should have gone with our boy in the scaly green trunks to begin with. Might be worth exploring in the next Fantastic Four reboot anyway. Number 7, Deadpool and Harley Quinn. Sure, there are a few things that get in their way, like the fact that Deadpool is Marvel and Harley is DC. But they also have a lot in common. Both are pretty much crazy, both have gone through villain and anti-hero stages, and as a bonus, they color coordinate. The two share a wild edge that makes them unpredictable and dangerous. Just imagine the beautiful chaos they'd cause together. Oh, and the wisecracks. We're pretty sure that Wade would make a much better partner than Joker, or even Poison Ivy. And there's little doubt that he'd meet his match in Harley if this crossover ship ever happened. Number 6, Jubilee and Tim Drake. We know, those two don't even live in the same universe. But in the mid-90s DC vs. Marvel crossover, they actually did meet, and it was adorable. There's just something about the story of star-crossed lovers from warring universes that works surprisingly well. Of all the couples on this list, these two might be the least likely to get together for real. But if the chance ever comes up, the X-Men's edgy kid sister and Batman's cleverest sidekick would absolutely make a great match in the long term. Because for that brief moment, sparks flew, and we're not talking about Jubilee's powers. Number 5, Miss America, America Chavez, and Hawkeye, Kate Bishop. This is another couple Marvel has been teasing for a long time. Both originally members of the Young Avengers, Kate Bishop and America Chavez became fast friends amid the complicated events of 2013's Young Avengers. And despite Kate's insistence that she's the only straight member of that Young Avengers team, fans have been clamoring for something more to come from that friendship ever since. There are reams of art under the Amerikate shipping nickname, along with in-comic suggestions that Kate might feel something for her now former teammate after all. If Marvel ever did get around to doing something with this couple, they definitely have a ton of support from fans. Number 4, Spider-Man and Kitty Pryde. Both Spidey and Kitty Pryde got their start as awkward teen superheroes trying to live up to more responsibility than any adolescent should have to. Both of them use their dorky senses of humor to cope in tense moments and supervillain battles, and both of their lives tend to get messy. And it's perhaps for all the aforementioned reasons that their Ultimate Universe counterparts actually dated for a while. As they try to survive their hectic superhero lives, they could definitely benefit from having a partner who knows what they're going through. You know, maybe cut the other a little slack when the Rhino makes them show up late to dinner. Can we just make it happen in the Prime 616 reality? Thank you. Number 6, Wolverine and Jean Grey. It's the ship that won't die, no matter how many times Jean Grey does. From the start, this potential romance has been a little complicated by Jean's relationship with Cyclops. It's a classic love triangle, and Wolverine is obviously the bad boy of the entanglement. Having said that, his affection for Jean is clearly sincere, and his animal magnetism has proven too tempting for Jean to resist on numerous occasions. But despite stolen kisses, Logan and Jean have remained star-crossed, except in altered realities. Isn't it time that they both get what they really want? Number 2, Miles Morales and Spider-Gwen. Just a few years ago, this relationship would have seemed impossible. Miles Morales and Spider-Gwen are from entirely different universes. Sure, they met a couple of times through dimension warping shenanigans, and there was at least one issue where they kissed. But as well as they seemed to work together, they always had to go back to their respective homes in the end. But now, with the 2018 film Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse having increased their popularity and making multiverse stories more mainstream, maybe there's hope after all? Crazier things have happened in the wild world of comic books. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Batman and Wonder Woman. This relationship was explored in the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited animated series. It might not seem like a billionaire playboy and an Amazonian princess have a lot in common, but somehow this pairing just kind of works. Diana's bold and assertive approach slowly teased Bruce out of his shell, while he desperately tried to pretend he wasn't interested. They don't seem to have much romantic chemistry in the comics these days, but for fans who remember that early relationship, it's exactly that yin and yang dynamic that makes Batman and Wonder Woman the #1 comic couple that should be canon. Do you agree with our picks? Let us know in the comments. And hey, if you're a fan of the song playing right now, be sure to check out the music video for it right here.